Something interesting about myself. The easiest thing would be to talk about a car accident that actually happened to me a year ago. It was, I believe, the third week into January on a Friday night. And I had just gotten this new radio that I wanted to put into my car. So some friends and I were going to go and put that in. When my friend told me like, well, it's cool, just come over right now. Whenever I went over there, bought like all the supplies that we needed to change everything out. We ended up running out of time. We're leaving from my friend's house and we pulled out onto the street, and that was a two-lane street going one way with a medium in the middle with light poles and trees, and on the other side was an opposite lane going the opposite direction. There were us two cars, and there was also a car behind us, which was our other friend. And as we were going straight on the road, there was this pothole or something in the road that caused my car to kind of turn right a little bit and like hit the curb, and then I guess by panic just kind of turned the wheel back over left, and I started sliding, and my car actually started heading into my friend's car. But right before we actually made contact, I blacked out. And I've never ever blacked out before in my entire life. So that was probably just like so different for me, just a limp body in the car. And what I'm being told was like the car was there was another car behind us, which was my friend. So he was telling me that my car had hit my friend's car, and as my friend was spinning out, my car kind of went up the medium and started to almost flip. The car actually just snapped in half. I've never even heard of a car just snapping in half like that before, ever in my entire life. And just to know that that happened to me was just terrifying. I mean, I woke up in a field that was way a ways away down the street, and it was by this church. So I was laying in this field right across the street from this church, and I was face down, and I thought like, well, this is it, like I've passed away. I've never had that feeling ever before in my life. And as I start to open my eyes, I feel my body all aching, and I just start hearing my friends calling my name. And as they're calling my name, I just realized like, okay, well, I'm not dead. I'm still here. Nothing good is going on right now, other than the fact that I am alive, and I've just survived this. I look over, and down the street, there is the back end of my car that was on the light pole and a tree, and that was on fire. And the front end of my car was actually down the street on the opposite side of the medium. So it was just strange seeing my car probably like 40 yards away from each half, and each half was just so split apart that it just seemed so unreal. But I remember I was wearing this white sweater, and as I tried to turn over and sit up, and I look at my sweater, and it was just torn completely all over my chest from the seat belt, and all of my sleeves were just blood everywhere. I mean, it was really noticeable in that white sweater. I always carried this thing in my wallet. It was this little token that had the Virgin Mary on one side, and on the other side it says "always with you." And my mother told me to let that represent my father, who had passed away previously 11 years ago now. So I think one of the things is that made me survive that was having that token with me. And actually the other day, my friend and I were having a conversation about this accident, and he brought up the fact that we were right by a church. I had never even thought of that. I was just always so focused on this token. And the weird thing was, like, I was out of the car. I woke up out of the car, but somehow, I mean, I had my seatbelt on. My window was up, so it smashed, and we're thinking, okay, maybe I like unconsciously like just got up and walked off and then just fell in the field or something. But a lot of other people started to tell me that maybe it was my father or an angel or something that actually pulled me out of that car to save my life. But we still have no idea, absolutely no idea whatsoever what it could be. It was just one of those moments that was just so different, and so everything was so real. But luckily I have all of this. I have a ton of friends that came to my house that night and actually helped me made sure I was okay. And they were, well, that night I was in the hospital that night for 6 hours, just making sure that nothing was wrong. I didn't have any nerve damage or major abrasions anywhere. But I was released, and I was released with a mild concussion. I mean, look at this. I have no idea how just a mild concussion can come from something like this, but it was just one of those things that made me so blessed. And with all of the support of everyone that came to my house and all of my friends and family that called and asked how I was doing, I was perfectly fine. And everything was just made so much better. I mean, it was just insane. One of those like freak accident kind of things. But I mean, I guess like how people say, like, it's the things that hurt us that make us stronger in a way. But I just really can't believe that something like that could happen to someone like me. I mean, personally, I just think I'm a normal person. But now it's completely changed the aspect of how I think and the reality of everything. Because now I hear people complaining about their mother, their father, their brother, their sister, something like that, and it's just so, I mean, in a way, so irrelevant to the fact that life doesn't really, it's not here forever. I mean, you can wash away your sorrows with drugs or alcohol or something, but the reality of it is that everything is there the next day, the next minute, the next hour, something. I mean, everything is always waiting for you whenever you're done doing whatever you need to do or what you feel you need to do. I mean, it just made me think of how maybe if I come across these people, if I come across someone that's just hurting, I really just feel the need to help them, because I would want someone to do the same thing for me. I mean, I couldn't stand seeing just someone upset over something so simple. But I mean, now things are completely different. It's been a year past my accident. I mean, there's still parts of my body that kind of hurt, but everything is slowly being worked out. I mean, nothing heals in a heartbeat. But I remember going to see my car 2 days later, and whenever we walked up, the guy told us, well, here's one half of the car over here, and the other half was towed over here. And I remember my mother just dropping down in tears, just crying her eyes out. And she's a very emotional person, and to see her just so hurt, it pained me. But I looked at everything and I smiled, and I kind of chuckled a little bit, because, okay, I was saved through this. Something helped me through this. I mean, I always just thought I was a normal person, and that, okay, I have some friends, I have a normal life, but to be blessed with something like life, for like a second chance, a new beginning, everything was just so different. I mean, nothing was really all the same after that. Things have changed, and I've met different people that have actually changed my life as they have told me that I've changed theirs. And I'm happy to be here to pass on this message that, I mean, nothing lasts forever. I mean, someone can come by and take a life like nothing, but what they don't realize is what that person had, or who that person had. everything is just so different now.